And it goes a little something like.
Hey guys, how you guys doing? This is Jay, Road Talk with Jay, Shop Edition. This week we have a interesting lineup this week, man. You know, last week it was like about 5 of us in here. Like, if you look around, we got a slew of people. So our special guest this week is Mr. Assistant Chief of Police of Port St. Lucie, Richard Del Toro. And we also have Nick Mims, City Manager of Fort Pierce, hanging out with us today. On the table. And we got Darryl for SCC. Coalition. Yeah.
Cigar Coalition.
We have Jacques over here. He's managing a couple of BurgerFi with Alex over there, his partner. We also Big Gene is back on the scene.
Big
We have Sam Welch, author. Also known AKA as, I'm not even going to do it. Chidorico. Chidorico. Then we have Prince, AKA Jermaine, and you know Rock is back. And we have Tinkerbell in the building. We got Crystal and Asa. They're back in the house. So we're going to do more of what we did. And also DJ All-Star. And we got to big up Eric behind the cameras. Gotta show you some love. I'm calling me love from now on. Gotta show you some love. Yeah.
That rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, he love. Well, it's funny in high school if it was a rap. But if it was a rap, you know what I mean? So like, right now we playing the game of dominoes. We're playing some poker over there. We're gonna just start talking about a few things, some questions and have a conversation. So yeah, first of all, I won the first game. It wasn't on camera. I just wanted to put it out there. I got the first game. Yeah, I got my one. Got the scoreboard as usual. Got the first game. But man, I feel great today. I'm glad everybody came out, and I want to thank you guys for coming out and being a part of this show. I'm really hyped about it. You know what I'm saying? So. Let's start with Nick, man. Nick, what's up with you? What you up to? What's going on with you nowadays?
It's going to ask me.
It's time to jump in.
Jump in. Hey, look, it's Sunday afternoon, brother. I'm just, all is well.
All is well?
Beautiful city of Fort Pierce. All kinds of great things are happening. And I'm just happy that, you know, we have events like this. Yeah. You know, Sunrise Theater's popping, restaurants are popping. So it's a great time to be in our city. You know?
You know what, though? I want to know what you being city manager, but how was it like for you growing up in Fort Pierce?
It was great.
From where you came from to where you at now?
I can't believe you asked me that question. I mean, growing up in Fort Pierce, I love Fort Pierce, man. Born and raised here. Mm-hmm. And between 21st Street and 11th Street and D and Avenue P, mm-hmm. That's just me, you know. And I live and bleed this city, you know. These folks are my people. Right. My family's here, my friends are here, you know, generations. My family came here like 1911, wow. And I've been here, you know. Since then, I left, went away to college for a little bit, and came back. So growing up in Fort Pierce, it was great. It was fun. Of course, you know, it was smaller back then. There was no Port St. Lucie. Yeah. You know? It was just Fort Pierce, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden this huge mega city pops up. Yeah. But on the real, man, it was everybody knew each other. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew each other. Everybody knew each other's mothers. Yeah. So you got in trouble with this person, you're gonna get a whooping from that house down the street. So it was a community. And we all loved each other. We cared for each other, and I'm just blessed and honored that I could do what I do today.
Man, we appreciate you for that too.
Yes, sir.
Because you never turn down a phone call, and you always show up.
I try.
You always show up.
I try.
You and your whole team down there at City Hall, so I can't even discount Linda and Chief. So you and your whole team down there always looks out.
Yes,
they show up for the city and make sure that we good out here.
Yes, sir.
And I really appreciate that. So you got to get your flowers. You got something to say, Sam?
Now, you know, one thing that you said is that your family was here since 1911.
Yes, sir.
You know, when you think about this city, that's what you find. You know, a lot of people that's lived here a long time, they have that spirit of doing good. You know what I mean? And it's a different spirit. You know what I mean? And I just want to say thank you because you know you continue that spirit. You know what I mean? So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate that. We're gonna tiptoe to the yard too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, don't have me
Because
go
I ain't
first,
gonna
man.
lie to you, man. Rich is one of them dudes, even though he's actually running for sheriff now. He's this guy that's been, like, before he started running, doing for the community in Port St. Lucie. Everywhere. Everybody. I've known him before he knew I knew him. I'm like, yeah, he's on Facebook all over. He's been kissing babies before he started running. Literally. Let's touch on that. Man. How did you get there? Where you at? Bulldog is a good boss.
Bulldog's the best.
He's the best boss, man.
He is a salt of the earth guy, and you know, most chiefs wouldn't give their assistant chiefs as big a platform as he's given me. And when I first started as an officer, he was actually my first sergeant. When I made sergeant, he was my first lieutenant. And so he's kind of raised me in the police department. And you would never know off duty and he's out of uniform that he's chief of police. He's that grounded. I mean, if a pipe broke in your business here, he'd be up here fixing it for you because he's just that great of a dude. I just love him to death and admire him and respect him. But talk about Nick, I met Nick 11 years ago. I was in Leadership St. Lucie through the Chamber of Commerce. And they teach you all about
11 years ago.
Yeah, and he was one of the speakers. We came up to Fort Pierce, and it was a government day, and he was in Public Works at the time. But he got up and gave a speech and talked about Fort Pierce, and you know, Fort Pierce was at that time about to just start ascending to this comeback that's happened down here.
Right.
And he just spoke with such passion because even then he talked about, you know, he was raised here and how much he loved this city. And I think now, 11 years later, you look at everything that's been accomplished. It's a direct reflection of his leadership and his passion for, you know, this community. So you've done an awesome job, man. You guys, I couldn't get a parking spot down here. I had to park up in the parking garage, man. But it's revitalized, man. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man. So let's get some thoughts, man. What you got?
So I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So how long you been chief of the sheriff department?
So I've been assistant chief in Port St. Lucie for this is my 11th year as assistant chief.
Okay.
And it's just, I'm talking to Nick, it doesn't even feel like you're going to work. I got to come home and pretend like I've had a hard day. Because my wife knew how much fun I had when I went to work because I just work with amazing people and we just laugh all day long. And you know, it's serious work at times.
Yes.
But when you work with a great group of people, and I mean, I just jump up every morning out of bed, man, ready to go to work. It's just that great of a job.
And thank you. Thanks for you'll be a good chief for the sheriff department.
Hope so.
And I think you'll be successful. And you got my vote. Thank you for
man.
everything.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Stop.
Right.
So how, like when I first came to Port St. Lucie, it was like nothing out there.
Nothing. Yeah.
How did you evolve with that?
So when I first started there, I started there 24 years ago, and it was a retirement bedroom community. So you were either retired or you worked somewhere else. And there were no businesses really there other than banks, gas stations. Right. We had a Walmart, but you know, now we got 3 super Walmarts and Amazon and Cheney Brothers, and it's 220,000 people now in Port St. Lucie. It's the 7th largest city now in the state of Florida, and we're bracing for 350 to 400,000 people down there. It's 120 square miles. People don't realize how big Port St. Lucie actually is. It's huge.
Same thing with Fort Pierce. People don't know how big Fort Pierce really is.
It is big.
Fort Pierce is big and beautiful.
Yeah, especially west of town. I think in the next 20 years you're going to see that really turn a lot to more development, housing, and things like that than you see now with the ranches and all that type of stuff. So a lot of opportunity for growth. This is going to be a great place to be for the next, 20 to 30 years. It's going to be amazing.
Yes. That's for real.
Can I get my point?
Let's get back to the hand here. I got
just-
birds are burning my hands right now, man. I want that money in my bank right
Yeah,
now.
go ahead. Y'all complaining toward that same time. I'm over here getting my butt whooped. I can't freeze. I had my momentum going for a minute.
Oh, it's $5 bet. Everybody
Yeah,
covered.
he
Okay.
covered.
You made
Zach
$5.
got a question for Nick.
No, I matched his $5 bet.
Okay.
We all did.
So we
It's on
count on
him.
you.
I met James a few months ago and he invited me up here. I'm in the restaurant business.
Okay.
I'm what you call a fixer. And I'm looking for business opportunity in Fort Pierce.
Those are
Is
two
there
yours.
anything available for minority businesses in the Fort Pierce area?
Absolutely. I mean, we champion minority business. I know we work, whether that's within our community redevelopment agency, CRA, or that's within our CDBG funding. We always champion minority and women businesses. We also have a corridor, the Avenue D corridor, where we work with the Allegheny Franciscan Ministries. It's a philanthropic group that came to Fort Pierce and they invested in the Lincoln Park area. And they want to see minority business owners. So absolutely, we can come down, you can come down and sit down with me, and we will identify opportunities for you to come to Fort Pierce. We want you here, especially if you're going to bring something like what we talked about. But we definitely would like to see more and more businesses thriving in our community, without a doubt.
Alex here, my partner, he's been up here. He's opened up the first Shell station on Gatman Boulevard in Fort St. Lucie.
Yeah.
Traditions.
Yeah.
It's a gas station building out there.
Now you told me you guys are in the Burger Fire, right?
Well, he's a burger five, but I'm more of a, I've been in real estate for the last 35 years.
Right.
And, I've been up here since, I think, 23 years.
Yeah.
I've been up here 23 years. That's what brought me up was I bought some dirt. I was raised down in South Florida. I came from the Fort Lauderdale area. And I bought a piece of property off of Port St. Lucie. Didn't know what the hell I was doing. So anyways, just came up and built that place up, and then I've stayed here ever since. I never went back home because I liked it up here on the Treasure Coast, and just, looking for opportunities as well. And I've known my man here for about 30 years. We used to be neighbors down in South Florida. And, we've done a couple of things down south, and now that he actually moved up here. Just in the last year, I finally recruited him to come up.
All right.
That's awesome.
Let's make it happen.
Let's do it, man.
Let's make that happen. I'm always down for that.
Yeah, I heard him mention Burger Fire, and I remember, now we're in the mega yacht business, right? And so the guy, John Rizzos, you know him, the owner, or he used to own it or whatever, he was the first guy to bring his mega yacht down to Fort Pierce. So now we have one over there now that's worth, I don't know, about $75 million or whatever. But it's beautiful vessels down here, man. It's beautiful. So bring yours, brother. Bring yours. We got a spot for you.
And Nick, as you say that, being that we have a port that's coming up, have you guys considered like bringing in like a school that teaches like
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at apprenticeship programs. We even talking about a Marine Academy at that location, right? But we're trying to work with Indian River State College to get into the manufacturing, welding, woodworking, cabinetry, also marine-related manufacturing. So, yes is the answer. We just have to bring all the parties together. But yeah, we're trying to make that happen too. We want to create jobs for everybody to do. Okay.
Yeah.
So, question.
I got a wow.
That's a two question. Same question for both. Like, I want to know, like, what made you wake up and say, you know what? I'm going to be city manager. What motivated you to become a city manager?
I didn't apply for the job, man.
You didn't?
No, sir. No, sir. I was minding my business down in Public Works.
So the job picked you?
No. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how it happened. I served as interim for a while, and then I was just selected. We went through some turmoil, just like every city, every county goes through it. And I was just appointed and selected, and so far so good.
Okay. What about you, Chief?
So my father was a police officer, my uncles, my cousins, so I came from a police family. My parents, when my dad retired, they moved down. I'm from Connecticut originally, and up in Connecticut you have to go through a lot of civil service testing, and I didn't have any education at the time to get hired, and there are a lot of smaller departments. So I came down here and I went to IRCC at the time.
At the time, it was community college, yeah.
And in order to, I wasn't a great student in school, and law enforcement. I had perfect attendance, though. I love being around people. And so I didn't go to college right away, but when it was more blue collar work back then. And to go to IRCC though, my dad had a clothing store down here that went out of business, and so we had all this extra stock basically, and so I spent my weekends down at the B&A flea market to get my tuition, selling jeans down there on the weekends, and got my tuition. And Port St. Lucie actually turned me down at first.
What?
Yeah, I got rejected, but the director at the academy liked me. He was a reserve officer at Port St. Lucie, so he got me. I was working at Sam's Club here on US 1 at the time, part-time, while I was in the academy. And I came in for an interview, and I walked in, and this guy, perfectly fitted uniform, like muscles, like this guy looked like he should be on a motorcycle, or a police motorcycle, right? And he says, do you remember me from this weekend at Sam's Club? And I said, yeah. I said, but he was in like gym clothes, like workout clothes. And I was in the freezer section. I said, you came up to me and asked me about like chicken nuggets or something. And he said, yeah, he goes, I wanted to see what your customer service was like. And he goes, it's very important to us in Port St. Lucie, customer service, community policing. And I said, well, I must have did good because I'm here at the interview. And the rest is history. I got hired, and I've never had a bad day there. Port St. Lucie has just been so good to me, so many opportunities, and it's a wonderful community that really supports us law enforcement wise. And I just love helping people. I mean, I think, I always say this, these are rented titles, No, you can't go to work every day with some entitlement like you're better than anybody, or, that you're going to be assistant chief your whole life. You're only going to have a start and end date, and hopefully just do the best you can when you're there and make an impact. You never know. You make a positive impact on people just by the way you might greet them or help them solve a problem. Everyone thinks law enforcement's bank robberies and, all this high profile stuff. It's really, we deal with trivial stuff every day. And, when people, you get into this job, if you ask anybody who gets in the job, they say they want to help people. But then somewhere along the line, they kind of lose sight of that a little bit. And it becomes almost like an us against them mentality. And so we really preach, the customer service aspect, because, people are paying for a service. You're paying taxes. I think that, constitutes a business relationship. And we're out here to provide that highest level of service. And I just love it, man. I love, like I said, going to work. I don't feel like I should get paid to do this.
No, it's funny when people talk about you, when they talk about him, you wouldn't think they're talking about a police officer.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think they're talking about a police officer. You really wouldn't. You would think he's just talking about a regular person that just helped him with a good heart. Yeah. And that's the vibe he has. That's what he brings to the community, and I love that about him.
I love it, man.
People like that about him. And he smokes cigars. Like,
I love cigars, man. One a day.
So he can't be too bad, right?
So the deal with that.
Good too.
Okay.
So I have a question. So, as sheriff, what would you do differently that the last sheriff didn't do?
So, I've known Sheriff Mascara for, I've known our sheriff for, he's been in office for 22 years, and at the end of this term, he's retiring, and he's running his way, and I respect that. My biggest thing, and I think anybody should do, is you always try to take it to the next level. He's done a lot of good things. I really want us to become one county where we really work together.
Yes.
A lot of people think that, every single day police department, sheriff's office, we're working together all the time, and we do. But I really want to, like I was telling Nick, I can't wait to get it up here into the sheriff's office and see what I can do for Fort Pierce. What can I do for Port St. Lucie, and really be that force multiplier. Because look, everyone's struggling for resources right now. We got to work together, and just remember we're here to serve people, not ourselves. And Port St. Lucie is a very safe city. It's statistically the safest city in Florida with populations over 100,000. And I want to bring that same success countywide, and be the safest county in the state of Florida.
I love that.
And people say, oh, that'll never happen. No, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And the sooner I can get started, the better. So I can't wait, man. I'm so excited.
Now that you said that, I
Good.
was closing out this year, last year.
Yeah.
If not now, when?
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's gonna happen. It's just
Oh yeah.
Sometimes a change is needed.
it is. Change is good.
Yes.
But people fear change because they always say, well, how does this affect me?
Right.
You know? No, he's done a good job. It's just that we're going to really take it to the next level, man.
When's the date?
2024, the next presidential election, that cycle.
I'm gonna put up with the U-Haul.
Yeah.
U-Haul move everything in. Get the dogs and everything.
Yeah.
You gotta get them chips.
What you got, man?
Who's waiting over there?
I'm registered voter right there.
Okay, I'm just telling you what I got, man. What you got? I got full house, man. Queens on fire.
And Daryl's been quiet over there. I'm gonna get off of this.
Yeah, no, who's winning?
Yeah.
Who's winning?
What's going on, Mr. Texas?
What's going on? Who's winning?
What's going on, Mr. Texas?
Now I'm trying to reassess what we got.
It's so wild, right?
Yeah, that's your house. So, okay, you got Trip Queens.
Yeah, Trip Queens and 5.
Oh, you got a full house.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a full house.
You
Mr.
gonna get him out of full
Darryl.
house? What you got going on, Daryl? Let's talk
Mr.
about
Darryl.
Well, I'm checking that out right now to see what. And I don't think I can be the full
I'm
house.
talking about you,
Mr.
Mike. I'm talking
Darryl,
about at night.
what made you start the SCC?
Yes.
Why you think
Well,
I'm gonna take these chips?
Yeah, you go ahead and have
If nobody doesn't know, SCC stands for Soul Cigar Coalition.
it. Yes.
And you know, it's for 45 people, 45 and above, because we're looking for a certain type of caliber, you know, people that can hang, you know what I'm saying, with the soul.
Let
You know?
go. Go ahead,
So,
Daryl.
Mr.
Speak on it.
Darryl, what's
Yes.
going on?
Right. Thanks for that lead in. That was really good lead in. So,
What's this?
I got you.
Cigar Coalition was developed because we did not have a coalition of where people could come together, mature people that enjoyed a good time, like good old school music genre, because that's all we played, and that enjoy cigar and socializing with good people, and doing some of the things that we grew up doing. You know, for those of us that's over 21. So that was what caused the formation of SCC. And since that time, I've had a couple of events that were pretty successful. And now we're planning for, we have a big Super Bowl event that's coming up
That was not
on
gonna
the
be
12th.
in.
And hopefully hopefully they won't be in it. Yeah, it's coming. All right, so that's gonna piss off Jerry for real. But so we have a great Super Bowl party lined up, and it's gonna be an all-day event. It'll start about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're gonna have a number of events. First, we're gonna have Mr. Jason All-Star playing good old school music for us.
All right.
We'll have a few name those tunes. We'll have domino playing. We'll have poker, chess. We'll have spades, bid for those that play bids. So we'll have a variety of different games going on. But in conjunction with that, we'll also have a buffet for all of the people that come to participate. Now we're going to have at Los Cocos, which is our home office, we're going to have big screens all the way around. And we actually have a football pot for those that would like to participate in that. And we're actually having a raffle as well, the door entrance donation, because we are supporting St. Lucie. One of the, I'm trying to remember the name of the St. Lucie charity. We're supporting one of those children's sponsor. I'm trying to think of the name.
Foster kids.
Foster kids, thank you. St. Lucie Foster Kids. That's where a portion of the donations are going, and this is one of the reasons that we're having these events, to not only party with a purpose, but also to socialize, get together, have a good time with good people. Because we don't have that here. And that's what we wanted to create. That's what it's all about. And so we're going to have this nice raffle where we'll be raffling away your entry donation will automatically enter you into the raffle. And the raffle is going to have a bottle of choice spirits for third place prize. Second place prize is for, if you're a cigar connoisseur, a nice humidor for your cigars. And then first place and grand prize raffle is going to be a 70-inch Vizio ultra high definition smart TV. And it actually is sitting in my living room as we speak. So this ain't one of those, well, we're going to go out and buy it. We've already you procured it. So it is, that's who's going to win. That's what's going to be available at the door from the entrance donation. And of course, we're going to have a lot of old school fun with music, name that tune. And if you can, there will be prizes for that as well. And then of course we'll have the big event, the game itself. And that should be a full day of activity, so we look forward to you guys coming out to support that event, which is also going to be supporting the St. Lucie Foster Kids. And it's going to be supporting what SCC stands for.
Yes.
We're a coalition of old school, that's our demographics. And the genre of music will run from the 60s through the 80s. That's when music was really music. And so if everybody knows anything about that, you'll understand. That's when music was really music.
I love what they've done with Los Cocos too. So with that spot over there in Port St. Lucie, bringing that over there is actually helping the city a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's a great facility. You have both indoor and outdoor, and so we have the cigar connoisseurs can go in and out of the facility as you want. Outside and then inside, we'll have, that's where a lot of music is going to be played and dancing and just some of the fun stuff that we used to do.
Quick question: who supplied the cigars?
And those are supplied by Rizzos.
Oh, they got some good cigars.
Yes, I
just want to put it out there. Just in case.
Just in case. So we'll have live cigars on the spot you can purchase there, as well as other spirits, etc. So come out, have a good time, and help celebrate the Super Bowl. We'll be an all-day event. That's going to be on February the 12th, the Super Bowl. February the 12th, starting at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So
if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna do a shameless plug because I love my city. If you notice, all three of these men are doing something for the community.
Yes.
But I want everyone in here to raise their hand if they're doing something for the community.
You know what? I'm glad this was talking. I'm gonna come through that
The reason why I say that, I've been doing a documentary for the last and the plug is not about me. The plug is about this city and our spirit. Yes. You see, this is a different place where people actually love and want to do something for their community. You know what I mean? Tell them what you do.
Yes.
First name is Brennan, last name is Gene. Everybody call me Big Gene.
Why? No, I'm just playing.
Stand up.
My organization is called Young Kids Foundation, but everybody knows that as Young Kids Charity. What we do is we provide outreach for the young men and young women to cultivate them to be a responsible leader in the community. Not just being just a leader, but responsible. But actually being somebody that you can, their friends they can look up to be able to keep on going when it comes to the youth. We have a lot of people, a lot of kids and a lot of individuals that's following everybody on TV. Well, in the Young Kids Foundation, we cultivate the leaders to be able to give back to the community also and uplift the young people to be civil in the community and uplift their peers also.
And you know what I like about that too, man? Because you gotta understand, like in these streets, we know what just happened in MLK Day.
Yeah.
But most of these shooters are now being from the age of 12 to 16. They're young kids. Yeah. They need something out here. They need something to do. Trade, carpentry. That's like back in my day. I'm an old man. Back in my day, we had workshops in school where we can learn different skills and keep ourselves busy. And having organizations like his can open that door to actually providing more of that to the community and have these kids out here off the streets doing something different for themselves. Yeah. Besides the other thing.
The main purpose of the Young Kids Foundation is basically uplifting young people.
Yeah.
They're getting dragged into the media and what's going on TV. But we need more leaders in this community.
That's right.
Because right now, like I said, the elders are getting older, the young ones are they're drifting off the path. keep this cycle keep on going. To give back,
As far as myself, I work with the Florida Health Department as a birth doula. If you don't know what a birth doula is, I work with pregnant women and support them and educate them throughout their pregnancy. The program came about in 2019 because there are many deaths with moms and babies throughout the Black community. The numbers were high, so that's why that program was brought on to help mothers and babies continue to live, and not just that, also help lower the rate of C-sections and also help mothers breastfeed more as well. So that's what I do for the community, and also we have baby showers for moms in the community if they don't have a baby shower and so forth. And we also have diapers that we provide for them, clothes, books, and so forth. So
There's a room full of people that's just doing stuff for the community. They say there's nobody here doing nothing. That's not true. That's not true.
And I kind of did that because you started off without leaders. You know what I mean? And everything starts with the leaders. No matter what you think. When you go to a corrupt city, it's because the leaders are corrupt.
Right.
And it could be behind the scenes.
Right.
There is a good spirit in this what you call it. I live in Port St. Louis, but you know what I mean? But you know what I noticed as soon as I started going out into the community, I noticed a lot of people, their heart was to do for the city, to make the city better. And that's what's making this place so good. You know what I mean? That's what we have here. You know, people can't see it just by us talking.
That's right.
But what you can see is the heart of a person. You know what I mean? When you hear Rich talking, you can hear his heart. When you hear Nick, yeah, I know your name. I'm old. It's okay, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But you know, what I'm trying to say is our leaders. You know what I mean? It's just how you started off talking about, you know, what you're doing for the community. Everyone is trying to do for this community, you know, and that's what's making a huge difference. And it doesn't matter what people may see of this city. That's a very, very, very small sector, a very small, minute part of this city. You know, and this is what you have, people. This is what you have. This is the nucleus of our city.
That was beautifully said,
Yeah,
Mr. Welch. That was beautifully said, Mr. Welch.
Yeah,
I know.
Darren cheating yet?
No. Not yet.
Darren not cheating yet?
I got some short sleeves on.
Got short sleeves on?
Mr. Nick,
Yes, ma'am.
I got a question for Mr. Nick.
Yes, ma'am.
Since you've been in office, right? What have you seen change throughout all of your years being here in Fort Pierce and actually being in office and seeing what happened when you got there? What have you seen change since the time that you got there until now? What have you seen like positively change?
Okay. Well, I think a great deal has changed. When I came in, I started working in, you know, a couple weeks before Rich.
1911?
No, 1998, right? So, and then I had the opportunity to, you know, be in this leadership role. And you know, one thing I have seen about Fort Pierce is that we have such a strong and diverse community. We have more diversity than any other city on the Treasure Coast, without a doubt. We are now a majority black city.
Yes.
You know, based upon the last census, Fort Pierce is. And I've seen strong strides in promoting that diversity and promoting the education of everyone in our community. And we no longer have areas of our city that are neglected, because we all know you go to any city in the United States that has an urban core and it has areas that are neglected. We are now focusing on the improvement of all these areas that have been left to themselves for so long. So Our game plan is to make every corner of our city shine. We want every corner to be reflective of the other. We want greatness for everybody, everything, and everyone in our city. We want our neighborhoods to be sustainable. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want. That's what I've seen. I've seen a great change in that. And the most beautiful thing I've seen individuals like ourselves, because you know what? We the old folks now, right? We the old folks, right?
That's right.
We gotta take
We're the
care.
OGs now.
Exactly. We the OGs, you know. So we gotta take care of these young kids. You know what I'm saying? So we have recreation programs, and I always talk about our recreation program. You know, one of the best in the area. You know, it's and we mentor these kids, and it's up to us to start taking care of these young people. You know, it's up to us to educate these young mothers and lower the infant mortality rate that we was, you know, that was a struggle for us. You know, it's up to us to decrease the levels of HIV and AIDS. It's up to us to reach out and do that for our community. So what I've seen is an investment by us to help us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And for so long, we just left each other out there.
Yeah.
But if we don't come together, we shall not improve.
It's one thing I will say, in the last, I'm gonna say 5 years, the expansion of black businesses here in Fort Pierce has been phenomenal. I love it. Like, I'm just gonna do a couple shout outs. La Sweet Spot, my girl, Alicia, she don't like she calls herself Summer. She does like shirts and stuff for the community and stuff like that. La Sweet Spot does like facials and stuff like that. And then she got her husband involved in it, and they got the Drunken Monkey. And then you got the Scots that came out with, you know, Old Boys Barbecue. Like we have so many
hidden jewels out here.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. I love it, and the thing is, like, all these people I went to school with, you know what I'm saying, I went to high school with. I grew up here in Fort Pierce, born and raised, and I just love the expansion of our black people getting their businesses out there and saying, hey, we're not afraid to, you know what I'm saying, expand and be a pillar in this community that we love so much. I love it.
You know what though? To piggyback off of that, I gotta get PSL some love too.
Yeah.
Because PSL got that city in it. The Haitian Timbers.
Oh yeah.
Support us so much. May 18th, they threw the biggest function out there. In the city.
They did.
And the city officials showed up.
Yes, they did.
And supported. So that's really big for me, man.
I mean,
sorry.
Go ahead, Sam. I've seen the growth all through St. Lucie County. Because remember, St. Lucie County was actually as far as Brevard down to Palm Beach and as far out as Okeechobee.
Yeah.
And you could see the growth, you know, that's been going on with everyone and how people are so invested in what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, and just to let you know, I actually got a lot of love for Port St. Lucie Police Department. I actually got stopped one day. There's a gentleman. He looks. He has a bald head like you. I actually sent him a plaque. Remember, we did a
video show.
No, it was when we did the Suited for Change.
Yes.
We did a thing called Suited for Change, and Bodak came out, and the whole people came out, and you know, I forgot where I'm going with this.
The officer that stopped you. The officer that stopped you.
Somebody's no point.
No, I'm telling you, and I don't drink.
And if you notice, he said bald head like that.
The fact was, when he stopped me, I had no idea that my license had been suspended. Okay, and I probably shouldn't say this on what you got, but he recognized that, you know, what I was telling him was the truth. He actually followed me right around the corner to my house and let me go home, and it showed me that, you know, and it was during a time when everyone was afraid of the police. You know what I mean? and he showed me love. You know what I mean? So I always have that idea. You know, I love the Port St. Lucie Police. I love Fort Pierce Police. You know what I mean? I understand. You know what I mean? And I think all of us somehow understand. You know what you guys go through. You know what I mean? So I just want you to know,
No, it's awesome.
we all care for you.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll come back to those two couples over there trying to hide. What I like to say. Everybody's talking, but we ain't forgetting nothing. Now we're back with a news break. Dallas is losing.
What's going on?
The score is 16-9. They're losing. Having a great Sunday.
Yes.
But let me go ahead and go to Sam. Sam had a bullet point he wanted to touch on.
Right, so guys, I wanted to ask you because you know what happened on MLK, it's all over TV, and people think that this place might be you know, not a good place, but all of us that live there know that's a one-time thing that happened. But I do know that a lot of male, and I'm not talking about just black men, white men, of all races are disenfranchised unless they grew up in a house where we had our fathers or had someone to mentor us. What do you think that we can do different to help those young men that are disenfranchised?
Good question.
Well, I think the biggest thing is kids that get into gangs because they want to be a part of something. And when you do a better job in the community, showing them, like your nonprofit can do, or through Boys and Girls Clubs, that there is an alternative way, you know, and give them hope, you know. Kids need love, man. They need structure. Yeah, not every kid has both parents in the household, but they do have somebody. And you know, those parents, look, it's hard enough to make it on 2 incomes nowadays. Can you imagine struggling as a single parent? And so the kid might not be getting the structure they need right now, but that's where these organizations can step up, and that's why they have to be funded, and we have to do everything we can to support them. But you know, everyone just thinks, oh yeah, we could arrest our way out of these problems. You're not going to arrest your way out of these problems. And Fort Pierce is a safe city, despite what happened the other day. You know, I know the news media keeps, you know, mass shooting. We haven't had mass shootings in St. Lucie County. Ever. So, you know, it's a tragedy. I don't want to see it become politicized. I've had people tell me, you know, you need to say something, you know, you're running for sure. I'm not going to do that and come out and try to say, well, we should have did this, we should have did that. It's a tragedy that happened. A victim lost their life. What are we going to do from here? That's what's important. And we just need more people that are willing to step up, you know. And as leaders, we've stepped up. We're out in the community doing things. Hopefully that's inspiring other people. But these kids, they, you know, you're not going to arrest your way out of a problem like this. Because, you know, when you do make an arrest on a juvenile, and now we're bigger into diversion, so when a kid makes a mistake, like we've all made, I tell people all the time, I just ran faster than the kid next to me when I was younger, you know what I mean? So I didn't get caught, but we all did stupid things. And, you know, when these kids, they get a record, well, now you're stopping them from getting into the military, possibly getting into college, and taking away that hope. So what are they going to do? They're going to turn to things where they're going to be accepted in these gangs and things like that. So, no, we could definitely fix that problem. But it's going to take a community effort, not just the people who are police chiefs or city managers. It's going to take, we always talk, take a village, you know what I mean, to do it. So.
Just to piggyback off of that, like a lot of people in the community, they have this, you know, they see something, they don't say anything. With this tragedy that just happened, you know, say something. If you saw something, say something, because innocent people have been hurt. You know, innocent people have been hurt. If you see something, say something.
Right.
It ain't gonna hurt you.
Like you said, take the village if you're gonna help the community, help the community.
Right.
You say you want to be a change, or be the change, or be a part of the change. Action.
Yeah. Right.
Action. Say something.
Nick, you want to tackle that as well?
I mean, in my opinion, and from what I see, and unfortunately I see this a lot, and I'm sure Rich does too, is that, you know, you can spend a lot of time with a young man or a young woman, but a lot of times when they go back to that toxic environment at home,
yes,
that's where the problem exists.
Yes.
And so if you don't stay in their lives, you know, whether that's after school mentoring, coaching, teaching, giving them a work-life job skills, if you don't stay in their life, they're gonna have that problem. So I mean, too many times I've seen kids that, you know, I used to coach or whatever, and they go home to these same environments, they're hanging out with the same people, their cousins or their stepdad, or something's happening, and we lose their kid. We either that kid loses their life, or they take out somebody else, and then in effect they've lost their life. So we have to just continue to invest in them, and we have to, you know, get into these families too. Teach the value of life to these young people, and let these mothers and fathers know that there are resources out there to help them as well. So it takes all of us, and I agree with the statement I just heard, because everybody wants accountability, right? So it's time we as a community have to step up. And ain't no more that's, you know, snitches get stitches crap. What we got to do is take care of our community. And if you see people doing wrong, speak up. Don't be scared.
Take care of each other.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't tell me about the situation that happened.
Because
you were there. Yes. You're like, well, what did you do about it?
Exactly. Because
I
at the end of
mean,
the day,
don't you tell somebody, hey, that's not a good idea?
Yeah.
Or did you tell somebody, hey, come over here, let me talk to you. There's a better way to go.
Absolutely.
From what I hear, it was an argument that stems, and it was pretty much a shootout between those people. It wasn't really, to me, it wasn't really what they per se call a mass shooting.
Right.
These people got hit. Unfortunately, people lost their lives and people got hurt. But at the same time, they try to make it seem like this place is such a horrible place because of the fact that that happened. And it happened on a holiday, which is Martin Luther King Day. And then it happened miles away from where the parade was.
Yes.
You know, they tried to put it right there at the parade.
It wasn't.
And hours away. I hadn't got off from work.
Oh, yeah.
Like, well, that's one of the places I would have been at a car show. I like cars.
Well, I mean, Gene and I were there.
Yeah.
And we're not going to get into the details of the situation. But it's like, you know what? You're right, man. There's a better way to deal with these things.
Exactly.
But if these young people, or whoever it is, if you can't find a better, you know, outlet other than violence, you know, deadly violence, then, you know, your mind isn't right. So if you teach them another way to deal with their stress, their situations, their anger, maybe we can save a life or two. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a great event. You know what I'm saying? We out there having a good time. The whole day was awesome.
It was.
And then just 2 or 3 stupid people doing stupid things put this whole situation, you know, it just sensationalized it. And all of a sudden Fort Pierce is a horrible city. And that's not the case.
no, you know what? On that note, I had another bullet, but I'm not going to go into it. I want to end it on this note.
Yes, sir.
But before I end it, I really want to thank Nick and Del Toro for coming out. And y'all got to understand, it's a Sunday evening. They came out on a Sunday, so I want to gift them with these right here. I want to gift them with these right here.
Thank you, man. I'll talk to you later.
You're welcome, bro. Thank you, man.
No doubt shit.
Thank you.
Yes, where you at?
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, bro.
Awesome stuff.
No doubt, man.
Okay.
Yeah, so I really want to say.
Same one you just smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He like it. He good now.
I saved the rapper because I was gonna buy some. You know what? I got my own here.
There we go. There we go.
Well, yeah, man. I just want to thank you all for joining us again. Real Talk with Jay. This was a beautiful event.
Awesome.
I loved it, and I once again appreciate and thank both of these fellas for coming out. I want to thank Dal for coming out. I want to thank all of y'all.
Yeah.
I'll get y'all next time.
Yeah, next time.
I want to thank Eric, Jose.
Eric.
Next time, maybe Jose can join us.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you very much. Real Talk with Jay. We out.
Then it goes
Awesome, man. Good job.